Hey everyone, it's Paul with your Bold Profits Daily for Tuesday. Just to give you a heads up, this one is going to be on new energy. And I talked last week about three industries that are, I believe, going to remake our future. They're unfolding right now. This week, I'm going to focus on new energy because I saw some really incredibly cool stuff come out last week. And I'm so excited to share it with you. So take a look at this flying taxi from Israel. It's from a company called urban aeronautics. And that's super cool. And they're talking about introducing this in 2 years. So the thing that really got my attention that made me want to make this bold profits about new energy were a number of comments from the CEO of urban aeronautics talking about hydrogen fuel, and that because hydrogen fuel can be something that can be really sort of almost like a replacement. And in other words, it fuels up as fast as a gasoline car or a diesel truck. This is looking like it is going to become the commercial fuel of the future. And the way that I'm thinking about it, that the future energy platform is now set in place. And you can kind of see the stock market coming to the same point of view, in the sense that obviously you've got Tesla, which has pretty much verified and sort of vetted lithium ion for personal transportation, which is also then being used in any number of boats. And obviously Tesla, as a result of working with lithium ion batteries for so long, is now going to put it into the semi. And there's any number of other platforms, Rivian and Hyliion and others, that are going to put it into trucks and other forms of transportation that are out there. However, it's also becoming clear that the second form, kind of like gasoline to diesel in a kind of way, if you want to think about it, is going to be hydrogen fuel. And it's going to power, for sure, trucks and things that require rapid refueling and very high energy density, like an air taxi. In other words, you'd want this thing to be able to take off. It's very light, hydrogen fuel. And so you can go and refuel pretty often. Maybe in time, this will even refuel in the air. And it's pretty clear that the stock market is beginning to see that by the fact that it's starting to bid platforms, companies that are related to hydrogen fuel up very, very rapidly. And a great example of that is Nikola, which now has a stock market value of nearly $20 billion. The other thing that I saw this week, which is also pretty cool, is Tesla talking about the million-mile battery. Now, just so you know, like, I have a Tesla. When I bought it, the max range on my SUV was 295, and now that same SUV can go 355 miles. And the Model 3, I believe, or the Model S, has a range in excess of 400 miles. So essentially, it's now pretty much in line with any gasoline car. And I also saw this morning that now you can get a 75 kilowatt per hour recharge in about 5 minutes. So really all of the practical differences between gasoline and electric charging are pretty much gone away. And a million miles, I mean, you might not need to recharge for the lifetime of the car, which is absolutely insane. So that's pretty cool. And the last thing I want to show you is this really incredibly cool Lamborghini. And check this thing out. This thing doesn't have a roof. My kids say that this thing is as close to a Batmobile as we're ever going to get. However, the reason that I found this story really interesting is that it's also got a supercapacitor. And a supercapacitor, I believe, is a related technology that is going to jump along with the emergence of these two platforms, lithium ion as well as hydrogen fuel. And Lamborghini is clearly introducing that as a way to sort of get extra power into this, because this car, which, by the way, they've only made 19 of, just 19 of, sold out already, can go from 0 to 100 kilometers, which is 62 miles per hour, in less than 2.9 seconds, which is pretty incredible for a internal combustion engine car. And electric cars, because they have no resistance, can go even faster. Bottom line to all of this is that the world of energy is being completely, radically transformed. And it's fairly clear that the two platform technologies, or fuels, if you want, are going to be lithium ion and hydrogen fuel. And the time to get in is now, because many people say, well, Paul, I'll wait for 10 years from now. However, by then, these stocks will be up hundreds, if not thousands of percent. And a great example is Tesla. A lot of people do not understand why a company like Tesla has a greater stock market value than Toyota. And that's because the market looks forward. And when a company is also representative of an industry, and if you think of Tesla, they represent a number of industries, obviously transportation, mobility, future of robo-taxis. Their supercharger network is sort of like gasoline stations. And the Gigafactory is kind of like a refinery, if you will, creating the energy that goes into mobility. And so when you think about these companies that are first in terms of adoption, in terms of the rolling out of new technologies, they represent such a significant part of the industry that they're going to have very large stock market values. And you want to get in and make massive amounts of money, then you absolutely have to be in early. And one of the ways you can do it is actually also by being in supporting technologies that are going to support this, because supercapacitors are there in pretty much every electric type of instrument, because they give sudden power. And they also can recharge very quickly. So if you want to get in on this, I would tell you the way to get in is to really start to invest across the platform. And there's many different ways. There's obviously the batteries, there's hydrogen fuel, there's supercapacitors. And if you want to check into an incredible opportunity related to this area, please click on the strong hands above. It's going to take you to my presentation on endless energy, black magic, as I call it, which tells you about this entire new world that's being created. So that's my bold profits for this week. If you like the content on this channel, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe below, and comment. Have you experienced success with investing in new energy, whether it be Tesla, Nikola, maybe one of the new emerging hydrogen platforms? And I'll have another one for you next week. Until then, this is Paul saying bye.